let's begin. So last time, guys, you have all been invited to a meeting to discuss the issues of the day, the problems the realm faces, the threats that are being imposed upon you, and this meeting is interrupted by Lalalia. During her attack, you peeled off from the rest of the attendees and have been asked to assist in recovering, retrieving, rescuing the Arcanists of Blackstaff Tower. One of these is in hell. So you have bravely ventured to the 7th layer of hell, where you have been greeted by a little imp holding a little scroll announcing that all of your weapons and shields, etc., have been confiscated. This is a city of diplomacy. So any violence of any kind will be swiftly punished. And yeah, have a nice day. You're in the middle of a city. No real direction on where to go. Besides Monroe, we're using some kind of spiritual ability, taught himself locate creature. I think the locate person, one of the locate spells. And using some illusion magic from the scrying of Lavender, he's able to see what Malcor, the Arcanist you're looking for, looks like and locate him in the city. You have made your way to one of the central thoroughfares of this city and realized the direction that this signal is coming from is the enormous, large tower at the center of this city, looming over it with black smoke pouring from the top. The streets are crowded, full of devils of all shapes and sizes, as well as all other different species you might find around the prime-material plane. Most of which do not have weapons besides, obviously, a few, well, what you'd consider to be guards if you were on the prime-material plane. You've had a bit of a chat on your way to this thoroughfare. So, guys, what would you like to do?
Question back, because I wasn't here last time.
Yes.
I listened to the recording, but does that, removing all the weapons on it, has Thog managed to keep her holy symbol of Ravenkind?
You have, yes.
Okay, just checking.
I also have a question, Matt.
Yes.
I sent you a message about whether I still feel connected to one of those weapons or not in its place. I think you missed it.
I probably did.
Cool.
Is this a summonable weapon?
Yes.
Yes, you still feel connected to it. However, whether that ability would work, you'd have to try it.
Alright, okay. No worries.
So nice.
Did Dog and I take damage when we all got hit by that trap? Because I know you rolled Dex.
Yes,
saves
you
for us.
did. I think I put it into your online, your Roll20 character sheets.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, going forwards, I'd like to just at all times keep an eye out for any like possible glyphs or traps, just in case.
Okay, good to know. Give me a perception roll for that then.
Perception. That is a natural 20.
Wow, okay.
That's
Start if you need to go on.
Excuse me, sorry.
The all-seeing horse is back!
After should be to go on, basically. So, like, you're rocking it.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay,
Um,
you keep your eye out for traps.
what damage did we take? Sorry, was it thunderous? Was it force damage? Was it fire damage?
I think it was
It
nice.
was cold damage, yes.
Cold damage. Okay. I will look around at the party and they're now probably covered in icy remains. And if Syrah will press the digitation, all of you clean. All of us clean. Seeing as how probably appearances are important in this city, I'm just going to clean everybody up real quick.
Ooh. Oh, thanks, mate.
Well, I was certainly expecting of a warm welcome, but that was a bit of a cold one. If I didn't know for any of the better of the words, it would have been nice to meet you then.
Ah.
And there we go
From
again.
some
Gonna get the
from
cold
just
shoulder now.
somewhere
Well,
in
I
the
got a
crowd
cold
of
shoulder.
people. Fucking hell. Just sort of pass by. You don't see who it is, but you just hear a groan from a few feet away. Someone overhears these jokes.
Well, the big tower looks in the general direction of where we are going, but doesn't look like it's going to be a subtle adventure.
Well, Moreau here knows where we're going, isn't that right? You're following the scent, correct?
Yes, but look at the new direction. That big tower. The place that I saw, it felt important. I think that might be where we are headed.
Well, I guess we're
I
heading that way then.
will remind you that Monroe hasn't got his locate spell up at the minute
No,
because he
I
lost
know.
concentration
No,
from the ice spell.
I know,
But it
but
was
he hasn't announced to
northwest,
the
right?
to the party yet. So
Oh,
Sarah
yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
know,
sorry.
but I know.
Right, yeah. He will
My
let you
bad.
all know that. But yes, it is he does have the general direction.
Yeah.
Okay.
How is it quite populated around where we are, Matt?
It is extremely busy. Think Liverpool city centre on Saturday.
Is
That
there
is
any can Lavender notice any type of insignia or unifying feature in terms of dress on either the guards or the general population surrounding them?
yeah, give me a perception check.
So that is a 15 in total.
Okay. When it comes to the individuals you can see,
Uh-huh.
they all look like a patchwork of inhabitants for across the plains. There is no unifying thing between any of like the general populace. When it comes to the few devils that are armed, they all appear to be more humanoid than the rest of them. I do believe I can actually show you. Just give me a second. They do appear to be more humanoid. A lot of them do have large wings tucked in behind them, heavily armored, carrying weapons. They all appear to be in like a red and black, almost uniform, but armor. But there's no defining symbols or anything like that you can see.
Okay. She will just see in the kind of color pattern. In a bid to kind of, in the event of getting, on the wrong side of these people in whatever way, shape, or form, she's just going to change the color in her hair from purple to red with a disguise self, which is at will for her, so she can keep that up for as long as she needs to.
Amazing. Okay, good to know.
Okay. Had there been any other kind of insignia, she would have added that, but she's just going with the colour scheme for now.
Okay. What you can tell is, as you made your way to this, like the edge of this thoroughfare, there's still quite a lot of people down side streets.
Mm.
But this main road appears to be littered with all sorts of people shopping. There are market stalls all along this this street. Some of them are like a front to the buildings themselves, which are larger shops. But most of them, many of them, are just a hodgepodge of different styles, different owners, shopkeepers, and people shopping at them are selling all sorts of goods.
Can I just ask if we, as a large group, are drawing attention from any of these people? Or if they're just going about their business and we're nothing special?
Taking a moment to just, observe if you're being observed. The only people who ever seem to be looking in your direction are people who are trying to get past you into the alleyway or scoot around you to carry on with their business. No one seems to be even remotely interested that you stood there, even as this large group.
Okay, thanks.
Can Sarah just look around a minute and gain her bearings? Does she see any recognizable forms here? Like, are there any demons, or does it just look like demons that she would understand are demons, or does it all just look new and weird?
So, from your experience, all
Yeah.
the different species you can see, all humanoid, most of which you would find on the prime material,
Mm-hmm.
devils galore,
Mhm.
definitely no demons.
Okay.
At least that you would.
A bit that I would
recognize.
recognize.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I would love to stop and have a shop because it's been a very long time since I've been in a city, but I really think that time is probably of the essence here from what Pink Panther, and Nithsira raises an eyebrow and kind of looks at you as if to be like, that's what you wanted to be called, right? If what Pink Panther saw is true, then maybe we should hop and a skip and a jump towards that tower.
Something potentially that could get us all in on suspiciously, but it would require a little bit more knowledge about what goes on in there. Perhaps we could at least stop and chat to some of these shopkeepers, see what they know about the place.
Okay, great. Yeah, sure. Let's do that then. Who here is best at talking to people? I haven't really had a lot of interactions with a lot of people recently myself.
Well, I mean, the question is, talking to people is not a problem. It's just a question of what kind of result would you like to have?
A positive one?
That was brilliant.
Okay, in that case, probably not me. Can drive people mad.
And not me either.
Yeah, and not Thorcus says, and I unvolunteer myself.
Oh God, hang on. I'm not especially great at talking to people, but if I have to, I will.
Look, I guess I can offer some of my expertise. If we're not looking to draw attention, then I can be a different person depending on who I talk to. And she'll kind of like exemplify her disguised self by turning into Moreau, and then she turns into Nithsira, and then she turns into her best guess of what best approximation of what they can be. I
But
don't
it doesn't
necessarily have to be
seem-
one of you.
It doesn't seem like anyone gives a shit about us at this point.
Yeah, we're sort of, weirdly enough, as weird as we are as a group, pretty nonchalant around here.
We
Around
also don't want to draw too much attention to ourselves.
I'm just saying, I can be anybody in this crowd. You know, if you would like to go ahead and shop, I don't mind asking around. Would somebody
What
like to
about-
come with me?
What about just a generic devil?
Like this?
Generic devil.
Yeah, like a, him from Powerpuff Girls kind of look.
Yeah, the closest resemblance of a demon devil that she can give without sticking out from anyone else in the crowd.
Okay.
By the name of Pink Pin.
Remember, the devil, not the demon. Otherwise, I'm not so sure.
So are you going for one, just one at random that you can see, or are you looking to be more like the guard-looking ones?
If I can, because does it have to be someone that you've seen, or can it be a amalgamate? Like she's trying to look like NPC demon lady.
It depends what spell or ability you're using to do it.
It's disguise self at will.
is it Mask of Many
Right,
Faces
okay.
though, or is it?
Yeah.
Because Mask of Many Faces works with anything that you've seen.
Anything that you've seen.
You have the ability. I think it's you steal the identity and appearance of something of a creature that you've already seen, like a humanoid that you've already seen. I think you'll have to double check Mask of Many Faces, but
Yeah,
I know. Yeah, I think it's that.
Yeah. Yeah, you can basically like any of them. There is every now and again you do see a large devil that stands like 12 to 13 feet tall. Probably couldn't get away with one of them.
Yeah,
But anything
yeah.
else you could probably get away with.
Yeah, the first one that she sees walking away from walking in the opposite direction of them.
Okay.
Looking like like somebody shopping on there every day, kind of in general dress. Whatever she can see, it's the most like common thing, basically.
Okay.
How's this?
Just out of
As
curiosity.
the,
Sorry, carry on, Matt.
go on. No,
Just out of curiosity, while we're all discussing this, listening to the hubble and bubble around us, are they speaking infernal? Is it abyssal? Is it common? Is it what languages is Nisira hearing them speaking mostly? Because I understand
so-
infernal and common, but I don't understand abyssal. So I would like to see whether, if it's the general consensus around us being that everybody is speaking infernal, then that might change our tactic of how we ask people stuff.
Okay. So from what you can tell, the vast majority of the conversations happening at the markets around you and just people just chatting as they walk past are in common. I'd say it's like 60% common, probably like 30% infernal, and the rest are languages you don't know.
Okay.
But you can tell there is a multitude of other languages. It's not like one other language. It is.
Okay.
They're all vastly different.
Sweet. Okay. As a cool. Okay. Cool.
So as a larger crowd pushes past you, people around here get a bit more dense. Lavender, you recast disguise self. You now look like one of these hunched over, very angry looking devils.
Just on the point of languages, Matt, she cast comprehend languages last session. It's not a concentration spell, but by casting disguise self as a cantrip, does that cancel that out, or can she still understand everything?
So long as the like so long as it's not 2 concentration spells you cast,
No.
they're both still active. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. So she can basically, if she interacts with anyone in the next hour, hour or so, she can still do that, right?
Absolutely, you can.
Okay, amazing. Cool. It's my spell is still up, so I can still understand everybody too. Would anybody like to that's Scottish one. Would like to accompany me, or this is up to you if you would like to go shopping instead.
Do you
Yeah. Sorry, go on.
do you understand the languages that they're speaking here?
Apparently, yes. I still have my spell up from before when I was
I mean,
scrying and trying to understand.
I mean, without the spell, would you be able to understand a lot of what's going on here? Because I've learned Infernal to help.
Then by all
How-
means, you can come with me if you like. If I can't understand something or the spell drops, then I could use your help.
Yeah, then at least that way we could. What's the best way of doing this? I've got an idea actually. How about I'll accompany you to help fill out your language profile. If the languages falter and somebody begins start talking to you in Infernal, how about we do a ploy of you are my superior, who doesn't like being spoken to directly, and I'll quote unquote translate for you, or talk to you for the thing that's talking to you in your place, and I can whisper to you in your ear what's being said so you understand how to respond, and I'll respond for you.
At the moment, I don't imagine that I'll need more than the hour.
Okay.
Why don't we say that that's the end of the time? We have an hour, and then we meet back here.
Okay. Yeah. I don't like this place. I don't like being here very much, and I would feel a lot better if we didn't wander off on our own.
Of course, we'll stick to the shopping streets. Agreed.
Yes.
You want? I'm happy to scout out on the rooftops. Keep an eye out for anyone sus who might be after you.
I think a bird's eye view would be beneficial. Keeping an eye on us.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, sorry, Eve.
Or am I missing something?
Okay. Cool. I'll rooftop it and stealth.
Sorry, what was that, Kate?
Basically, I'm gonna follow them both on the rooftops, like a bird's eye view, if you like.
Okay.
Just a means of kind of keeping an eye out.
Okay, give me acrobatics or athletics check.
14.
Okay. Now give me stealth check.
That's more like it. 23. So a shaky jump,
Okay.
but
Okay. Yeah, you can go back into an alley and up a series of smaller parts of the building, small steps, if you'd like. Scramble your way up onto a rooftop. You might struggle when it gets to like larger gaps in the street, but for now, you've got a reasonably good bird's eye view. So what is everybody else doing? Sorry. Are we splitting into groups or staying as one group?
I just want to peruse if anyone wants to join me. I'm just curious
Okay.
about the surroundings in general, what's being sold.
Okay. In that case, as you go and peruse, around here, it doesn't seem like any of these market stalls are separated into like categories. Like no similar wares are being sold from one stall to the next. The first one you come to, for instance, seems to be all sort. At first, you think it's maybe sorts of like magical components, things for spells. but then there's things in there being sold that you definitely don't recognize to be part of your typical mage's arsenal. There's types of like purple and black slugs like oozing around the stall that do not look appealing at all, but they're up for sale. Next to that, there's just a normal chicken. But there seems to be still interest in these stalls, so there's clearly a market for it here. The next one seems to be selling defensive charms of some kind. It's not apparent what each of them do, but there's an assortment of trinkets there that you can tell the store owner, purplish-looking devil with like a barbed beard sticking out from his chin, is trying to peddle this to a passerby as a luck charm, and when they're not interested, he picks up another one. It's, oh, well, this one protects you from magical attacks. People don't really seem to be buying it. So there's basically anything along the street you could possibly want. For those of you who are still part of the group,
Is anyone? Oh, sorry.
sorry, go on.
Was anyone coming with me on this little exploration?
Yeah, Thog will go with you.
All right, so
Most definitely.
I'll say to you guys, maybe the wizard we're looking for came here for some rare spell components.
That's
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
Yeah, that's very possible.
There's
It's a
things
small
here that
place.
couldn't buy anywhere else, I imagine.
Definitely. We just got to try and avoid getting conned ourselves.
Matt, could I discern if there's anything left over by the half-finished spell scroll?
Ah, interesting. What do you mean? Like you're just trying to discern what's actually on it, or how much there is left to write?
How much is there left to write, and were they looking for any specific ingredients from hell?
Okay, so looking it over, because you are, I mean, game mechanic wise, because you're not the right class, but in game wise, you're not familiar with the specific types of runes and magical scribbles that are going on in the body of this spell. However, looking it over, judging by like the average length of a spell scroll, it's probably about half completed. The only thing you can discern for certain is the name, and it is called Dream of the Blue Veil. Those of you who
Okay.
are left, those of you who are still part of the bigger group, perusing, walking down the street, you get a mighty surprise when you turn back and have a look at Dayak. Do you want to describe what they see?
Dayak has shortly after Lavender turned into a demon-looking thing, started like sort of mimicking what she was doing, and at least in facial features and maybe a few other things, he has turned into a tiefling. He's grown horns, he's grown a tail, his color complexion has changed, his eyes have changed. Other than that, it's still him because he's still wearing the same kind of armor, though maybe a little tint darker.
If Lavender throws out a detect magic, can she tell if it's illusion or if it's like a transformation?
It'd be a transformation.
The transformation, yeah. Okay. Well, I reckon it is probably correct and smart to try and disguise ourselves if anybody else has any form of doing so, even slightly. We do not want to draw any attention to ourselves being new, although nobody seems to be able to be good if in case we ask the wrong question.
That was my plan exactly.
Yeah.
The more we
Oh,
blend in, the
oh.
better.
Okay. And Tia just pulls up a hood of
That will do!
Seamless.
Hello, Chris. So far, everyone is just on the main, seemingly high street of this city. Teffel, Fog, and who else went with them?
I think Nith was with her.
Nith was with
And Tia.
Lavender.
Okay, cool. There's a few people. We've got a few people looking around shops, market stalls, getting a scout of the area per se, the kind of things that are going on here. And we have Eve currently on a rooftop, just watching over everybody.
Cool. That's awesome, man.
With the song Detect Magic, can Lavender look around and see if which market stall holders are not magically like what's glowing magical and what isn't. She's actually looking for something that isn't magical.
As in terms of what's being sold.
Yeah, like basically she's trying to suss out who might see through her disguise if they are magically like inclined.
Looking around, there's quite a few stalls, always within 30 feet of you here. But
Yeah.
having just a little walk down the street and back with the Detect Magic up, I'd say maybe a fifth of the stalls have at least a magical item or magical items for
Yeah.
sale in them.
She's gonna walk up to any of them that don't.
Okay.
And just kind of, gesture to the others to not follow immediately, but like kind of do their own thing a few steps behind. And she'll walk up to the stallholder and she'll start perusing the wares, and she'll say, she'll kind of look at them and go, "Say, did you hear what I heard about the tower today?"
Oh, no one's spoke to me about the tower. Is this interesting? This devil, very similar in appearance to you, only green and spikes pouring off his body, stands up as you approach. Would you like to share?
Well, if you haven't heard, then you haven't heard, if you know what I mean. And she'll wink at him.
Is he is he up to something big today?
Well, that's what I hear, but I cannot share, If you're not in the know, you're not in the know, but I suppose that's the way the dice rolls, Can she insight check it?
Yeah, what is it you're exactly trying to deduce?
Whether he knows any more than he's letting on.
Okay, yeah, go. Insight check.
19.
Okay. He does seem intrigued, but he also seems a bit off guard because you can tell by his mannerisms he was about to start into a sales pitch, and you cut him off, and he's kind of like now stumbling, trying to find himself on like, what do I do next? Kind of that kind of body language. He's Beelzebub gets up to what he gets up to. I don't want to interfere, but I do say, Are you in the market for limbs today? I've got so many you could choose from. I have goblin down here. I've got various humanoids along the back there.
Oh, they are very, very wonderful limbs, but I cannot buy from the first stall I walk into. Give me 1 second and I will be right back.
Well, that's true, but Scott down the road, he's poor quality limbs, terrible hackmanship. I would not recommend. You'll be coming back soon.
Indeed, I'm sure I will be. And she'll kind of shake her head at the others, and move on to the next one. She'll continue this line of questioning to kind of like see if anybody knows anything about the tower, or if anybody drops the name of the tower.
Okay. Give me just a general investigation check then.
Yeah.
Could I,
As
if
you,
Lavender explained her plan to me of what she was doing, could I assist by also listening out?
yeah, go for it. Go for it. Do it at advantage.
Investigation, right? That's a +5, so that's a 18 with advantage.
Okay. Dodging in and out of a few more sales pitches, just trying a bit of small talk. You can deduce that the tower in the center of the city is simply referred to as the tower. And almost kind of like an ominous third person kind of way.
Well, I never found out that it is called the tower.
The name that keeps on being bounced around is Beelzebub. Other than that, you can tell everyone has the same kind of attitude towards it, of a mixture of I don't want to get involved in that, but also honestly, kind of an attitude of boys will be boys, like, oh well, let's just let them get on with it. No business of mine, whatever. Kind of dismissal. Is there anything you'd be like prying at other than that?
Yeah, the next thing I was going to say was she would probably ask, like, you know what? The last stallholder she goes up to, she'll be like, say, I'm getting some ingredients for a wizard friend of mine. I don't suppose you've seen him around lately. He didn't come back when he said he was going for ingredients. Just left a note. I came here looking to see if perhaps he was here.
Oh, well, that's a common story around here, I'm afraid. There's plenty of wizards. You might want to be a bit more specific in your questioning, but that's a daily story here. Wizard comes for one thing, signs the wrong contract, never seen again. I'd give up now.
He had
See him again.
dark hair, goatee, that kind of look. Doesn't ring a bell.
Oh, yes. They do like their goatees, don't they, them humanoids? Sorry, doesn't ring a bell.
Very well. Yeah, that's the only other thing really that she would be asking.
Whilst everyone's looking around, can Moreau be like looking around to see if anyone is like paying any like undue attention to the group of us?
Okay. I think Teffel did a similar thing before.
Okay, cool. I'll leave it then.
Now, even now, as you're like mingling with different shops, having a nosy around, no one seems to be paying any of you any particular attention.
Cool.
Is there anything else anyone else would like to do?
The only thing I might like to do, Matt, is if I'm seeing everyone else is disguising themselves, I might quickly go over to find like a quiet corner, and then I'll use my bloody called glamoured studded leather and say the command word and make my clothes look a bit nicer. So like a grey, like long overcoat, much like fancier waistcoat, cravat, something looking like a lot more well-to-do.
Okay. Good to know. You do get a little bit more attention the more fancy you seem to be dressed, seemingly by the merchants who are trying to peddle anything aesthetic, whether that be clothing or jewelry. They're now not staring at you, but they're keeping an eye on you. So if you do walk past, they're going to try and sell you something, probably.
I'll have like a haughty look on my face, like I'm slightly above them, and just keep walking along.
Okay.
Can Eve look out from her vantage point and see if there's like anything interesting going on in the street, like like street callers, yelling anything about Beelzebub out, or any street scuffles or anything like that?
Give me a perception check.
19.
Okay. As far as scuffles go, the most negativity you see from anybody is the occasional like death glare from one devil to another, or from one mortal species to a devil. There's no outward hostility that you can see anywhere. As it goes for street callers, it's all just merchants. The thing that does catch your attention with the 19 is further down the street from where you are, there is a little subsection where the market's changed slightly. And you can tell there are devils there still trying to sell to passers-by, but notably there's nothing actually in their stalls. They just still appear to be trying to pitch things to people, but you can't see any actual substance, no objects for sale there.
Can I hear what they're saying, or is it all in Infernal?
No, some of it will still be in common. The only thing that you can catch from a rooftop is a repeated word that eventually you realize is contracts.
It's unsettling. Cool. I'll bear that in mind, and swallowing evil continue on and just keep an eye out in case Lavender gets approached by any of those guys.
Okay.
Come across. Oh, sorry, go on.
No, go on.
Do we come across the contracts people in our wandering?
If you continue towards the tower, you will, yes.
Yeah, I would say, like, after the line of questioning on the shopkeepers, we'll just keep going until we reach them.
Okay.
Unless
One quick thing, Matt.
Oh, go on. Yeah.
So just, can I tell the currency they're using? Are they using like gold, or is there something else?
They do all appear to be using gold where you are. But that's something else that does seem to be few and far between as you reach like the next section of this street. It's about halfway, not about halfway. It's about a couple 100 feet further down from where you started. You can tell the market continues almost all the way up to the tower. And then again, there's still wares being sold, but there is more abundance here of people exchanging nothing but paper, and sometimes nothing at all. And just having a stroll through, from the conversations you can hear going on, it's the bartering and selling of favors, of contracts, and of souls.
It's not good, really.
Lavender will approach one of the sellers. Is it like specific sellers? So like, is there like a favor seller? Is there a soul seller? Or are they kind of all doing a mix of everything?
So you can tell that there's a few devils that seem to be swapping contracts with each other.
Yeah.
The most, when it comes to actually sales pitching, it's devils trying to reach out to passers-by, and the vast majority of people traveling the streets are trying to avoid those particular devils. They're not really engaging in conversation.
Right.
But the pitches that they're giving out are kind of open-ended, more of what can this devil do for you type thing.
Got you. Listening in, are any of them in the particular contracts of selling people or lives in particular?
I'd like to assist with that. If there's a check involved, I'll be helping out.
I'd say with the two of you, that would be relatively quick to discern.
Mm-hmm.
It seems that the devils that are interacting with each other are selling or exchanging contracts for souls. So there's no, it's not like a slave trade or anything, but
Right.
you can tell that what they're exchanging are contracts that mortals have signed their soul to this devil, and they're bartering between each other on who gets what. And the same way like debt collectors will sell debt to one another.
Okay.
Yeah.
She'll approach one of these soul sellers and she'll say, I've been hearing you do quite a good pitch here. How do you get into this soul selling business?
They look at you a bit confused and then just burst out laughing. Which goes on for a good 20-25 seconds before the smaller of the two. It's like, oh, it's a wonder you've been able to keep that form. Rookie, are you?
You see through me?
Well, I'd love to help, but I don't want to. Yeah. Less competition, the better. Hey?
You cannot help me for being intuitive. Can you? It's a fruitful endeavor, is it not?
It depends how good you are at the business. Depends how convincing you can be. And they both chuckle again.
And just how convincing are you? What is your turnover? Come on,
Give me a persuasion check.
Sure. 15.
I don't know who you are, so I'm gonna keep my business to my business.
If you insist, sure. Kind of waves her off. Well, waves him off. But I have to ask, how do you know that you're getting the best type of deal if you're not even seeing the people you're exchanging the souls of?
Well, it can be a bit of a gamble, but
It's just pieces of paper. How do you know what you're selling is real?
I'm gonna have to ask for a deception check.
Deception is plus 4, so that's an 18.
Okay. He looks at you very quizzically, says, "You cannot lie in a contract." Oh, How have you kept that form? Trust me, you try and strike up a contract with a mortal, and you lie in it, or you lie to another devil, you're the one that's gonna pay the price. That's just how these things work. God, it's a good job you are not in this business.
It's for the best, hey. Anyway, have an awful day, and she'll walk away.
Ah, you too.
She'll walk back to the others and kind of take them off into a side street somewhere. And she'll say, "Well, I believe that they were in the business of selling contract souls, but that is all I can garner from those people, and most of the shopkeepers know nothing. They just refer to that place as the Tower. I think we could do with an inn, perhaps finding out who's in charge around here. Perhaps they can give us some authorization or access to some."
You mean evil popped down now? You mean that Mephistopheles guy? Some more insight on him?
Who was the Mephistopheles guy again?
Sorry,
Remember?
Beelzebub.
Beelzebub, yes, that's.
Sorry, confused with devils.
But perhaps indeed. Is there? Are any of the? Don't suppose any of the shopkeepers are selling a map, are they?
Give them 5 or 10 minutes having a look around. You can find someone that does sell an array of maps and charts for all sorts. Yeah.
For this city that we're in?
Yeah, you can definitely find one of them.
Yeah. And can I ask the shopkeeper to mark landmarks as though we're she'll say we've just moved here from the sixth circle. We're a little lost, you see. Would you mind marking down some landmarks? I'd like to have a good library, the police station or something like that where the guards are, things like that, just so we know. I'll happily roll deception for that as well.
You still look like a devil as well.
Yeah. The police
I'll give her guidance as she's going up to speak to them. Seeing how badly the last one went.
Okay, can I ask for a sleight of hand check from Monroe then, please?
Sure.
Okay, 1 second. Sleight of hand. That would be an 8. Oh, 1 second. I am going to use something before I do that because I've seen the roll. Might be something a bit helpful. I'm going to use one of my hazy memory things that I get.
Okay.
So that will take it up to hopefully make it up to an 11.
Okay, you have your guidance, but can I have the roll at disadvantage, please?
Okay. Okay, the lowest was a 15 and the guidance is a 4, right?
A D4.
Yeah. That makes it a 16.
I don't know why you're using magic around here like that. You don't have to be so sneaky about it. Alright, so you want the landmarks, yeah?
If you don't mind.
He pulls out a large map. It doesn't seem to go all the way to the edges of this city. But you can tell that as it gets to the edge, the building density does decrease. He goes, right, around these edges, there's nothing there. Around these streets, there's all of your shops. Around these buildings, that's where people live. And then that's the tower. That's where Beelzebub has his residency. If you have any queries or problems or wish to strike a deal, that's where you would like to go. I would not recommend it, but that is that. And that concludes your tour of the notable landmarks in our city.
This is very, very kind of you. Yeah,
We
we
don't have
should
we don't have the abundance of attractions that you might find on other planes, but I assure you, if you need it, you will find it here.
All right. Well, and your name was
Balak.
Balak. Balak's the map man. Thank you, Balak. Well, I'm sure we will be back. How much was this one?
That would be 2 gold pieces, please.
Absolutely. Take 3. Here you go. Have a nice sandwich on me, Mr. Balak.
Thank you very much. And you, young man, you learn to be a bit sneakier before you get yourself in trouble, yeah?
Oh, apologies, of course. I do apologise very much greatly. If I give you a gold, would you be able to tell me if there's some way into the? Is there some sort of entrance fee or something to get into the tower? Is there? I'm as you can tell, I'm very new here.
Yes. You just go up to the gate and say, "Can I come in, please?" And they'll say, "Yeah." And then you can go in.
Oh, that is dreadfully helpful. Please have a gold on me. I do apologise for my early behaviour. Yes. Can I?
Behaviour was fine. The execution was dreadful.
Very true. Very true. Can I insight check and see if he's telling the truth or just completely taking the piss about the getting stuff? Geez. A natural 6 for a 17.
Wow.
Didn't have flex that hard.
Yeah, he seems to be just trying to be helpful. He very much has the demeanor of, he's just having a chat at work. He doesn't seem to have any inkling or motivation to take them.
Cool. Perfect. No. Oh, thank you. Good day to you, sir. And I'll move off.
All right. See you round. What are you guys doing?
When I get to the others, I'll quickly just say, well, it does appear that we can find our way in quite easily. We seem to be, there shouldn't be any kind, if we needed to get into the tower, there doesn't seem to be any kind of way to stop. We just say we want to go in.
Yeah, but what do we do when we get in is the problem. I can't imagine a fortress like that isn't anything but heavily guarded.
Very
and
true.
then they'll know that we're there. Highly doubt they'll just let us.
And the mapmaker said something about making a deal with Beelzebub. What deal would we make inside?
Well, it's finding something they want.
Well, perhaps that was, in terms of my scrying, what I was seeing was some kind of deal over his contract or his life.
Very true.
What could the devil want, though? Like, doesn't he have everything? I mean, apart from obviously more souls.
I think that's what he barters in. I think this wizard just got perhaps signed his name down the wrong time, wrong place, wrong thing. Maybe he, bartered for something he shouldn't have or didn't realize what he was getting into.
Well, you know that this whole place has been open to different places, right? It is
You
to
mean the
say
tower or the city?
The whole 7th law of hell.
To be honest with you, if I knew it was this easy to get into hell, I'd have holidayed here more often. I didn't know that it was open like that. So it
So
surprised me to hear that he was just popping in and out, you know?
what I'm trying to get at is that he might have been very bored of this place and
Mm.
wanted something a little bit more exciting.
I come to our realm, you mean?
As in, if we need to bargain something, it would be something that might be able to satire. Was it Beelzebub? Was it
Really want to
their
invite.
curiosity?
Yeah, it was Beelzebub, I think. That was the name I heard.
And what was the other vendor's name? Did I hear it correctly? I heard it was a bollocks.
Yes, I thought that too, but I didn't want to say anything, you know.
No, okay. Was it bollocks or was it? Maybe I got the name wrong.
Is it Pollux, like the star?
I heard Balak.
I thought I heard Balak.
Balak.
Alec. Yes, that probably sounds a lot more that of a
That was
name
very
than
wrong.
the first one. Apologies.
Thog is going to raise her hand until the others have noticed and say, you know, I'm not the cleverest and like looking around at her company, she's like, yeah, by half. But all I can say is, if they sell anything here, what was the name of the person we were trying to find again?
It is Malcolm.
Malcor Harpel.
Just sounds just like his cousin Malcolm in the Middle. But yeah, so if we find, could you put the spelling down for that, please, Matt? But also, surely, if we haven't had any luck trying to find him just by looking, we could perhaps buy the information from someone who sells information.
When I did a locate creature spell, it pointed us toward the large tower, and Lavender's scrying it does seem to indicate it was some sort of large chamber which would fit the description, but where in the tower would be an issue.
So that's what I mean. We could always ask. From the scene you described, we would only have to ask where in the tower do these things happen and why, and we might find out more as to what our Mark has got himself into. Just to, before we go in, learn more of that situation by asking about the situation, not necessarily the individual.
Are you
I
suggesting
like your thinking.
Sorry, if I got this right, are you suggesting actually entering a deal with a demon or devil?
Well, how do you think we got a map?
Well, like, we paid gold for that. It's the same as having to. I don't know.
Well, we might have to pay gold for information. They take everything. Everything's worth something.
It's worth an ask. If they take gold, I can certainly foot the bill for up to a certain point.
Exactly. It's just an idea. If you find someone who's willing to give information for money, and we describe the situation.
How do we know that they won't just take our gold and tell us some bogus shit?
Easy, but get it in writing.
Like the demon said, you don't lie in a demon's contract.
Exactly. Just because we can just set the price as gold. There's nothing to say we have to pay in souls, is there? It's not obligatory.
That's very true.
No. But it doesn't mean they won't demand something equivalently precious as information. That's the only thing.
Exactly. But the thing is, if it is money, then, well, it's money. If it's not, then we can regroup. There's no harm in asking, is there?
That's true.
Just ask about the situation that our, Malcor has found himself in, rather than Malcor himself.
I think Lavender was asking if anyone had seen him or heard anything.
Exactly, but that's what I mean. So we haven't found much about him, But if we ask about, what would someone have to do to be all chained up in the tower, next to a big fiery pit, we might find out more. What would you
Or
have to do to end up
perhaps
there in that situation?
if there's any way out of a contract other than the deal itself.
I don't know. They seem around here. They seem pretty tight. If they're selling contracts to each other and they would never lie, you would assume the wording would be immaculate. But I definitely couldn't. As Dog, I definitely couldn't figure that one out.
Yeah, from what little I know about this, they certainly wouldn't be wanting to give away the information of how to get out of a deal with them. But I think you're certainly right. It might be worth asking around.
I'm wondering if maybe this Beelzebub guy's got any rivals. I don't know. It's probably like a long shot, but
Maybe. I mean, there's always the other. What happened? Because Dog generally doesn't know. He's going to ask the others. I'm sorry. Like Lewis knows, but Thog does not. Thugs don't ask the others. So, do these, lords, princes, or whatever of hell, they actually get on? Do they all work together towards a common goal of damnation, or do they squabble like mortals do? Because, well, Thog doesn't know. Poor girl, she's not very educated.
From the stories I know, that they tend to work together, but it tends to be very much trying to undermine one and each other constantly, jostling for position.
Is that why they've never managed to take
taste of it earlier when she was mentioning about how they managed to keep a form or something? Maybe there's some sort of ranking or something like that.
I'm so annoyed because Lewis knows all about this, but yeah. Thog is just going to say, I see, in an uneducated manner.
Like stroking the chin, acting as if...
No, Thog doesn't do that. Thog doesn't have to do this. She'll just take it at face value and take up lateral thinking in perfectly straight lines. Just, okay, we don't know about the person, let's ask about the situation. Don't know about the situation, let's ask about something else. Doggedly going after every lead, one at a time. Not because the process of elimination makes sense, but because she can only think of one thing at a time.
That sounds sensible to me.
If she's sensible, she's not smart.
So, are you on the lookout for an actual information broker then?
Yeah.
I mean, if that's just a guess. If they sell everything here, surely information must be something they sell.
Okay. That it is going to take a bit longer to find someone like that. But it takes you a good 20 minutes wandering up and down this high street. But for about halfway towards the tower itself, you do seem to find someone who is not in the business of selling souls. They seem to be just surrounded with stacks of parchment and books, but again, not really selling any of them. People seem to be just exchanging money or other objects and having a conversation and then leaving. So you wait for a few minutes for your turn to interject. And as the last customer walks away, this almost human-looking devil turns to you. You can only tell that they are a devil because of the very stereotypical two horns jutting out the front of their head, but also very tucked away, very hard to see wings coming from their back, and you suspect a tail is somewhere present there. She looks over to you as a group says, well, is there anything you would wish to know for a certain price today?
Indeed. May I introduce myself? My name is Lord Francis Calloway, first Baron Idlethorpe in the realm of Mordant. My friends and I have come here today to find out some information. We're looking to inquire about some various situations that might be going on in this place. We're really looking to find out what goes on in that tower, and what would one do to Get yourself put in chains in there, for example.
That's not on the weekend.
You can tell as you've been talking, she has been listening, but an eyebrow is raised, and she appears to have written something down in a small notebook next to her before closing it. Did you say Calloway?
Yes, Lord Francis Calloway. Charmed to meet you.
It's not of the Calloways, is it?
Indeed, it is. Insight check to see if she's trying to
Okay.
try and screw me over.
I'm going to ask for a deception check as well as your insight check.
Okay, deception. That is a 21.
Okay, good to know.
And insight.
Insight.
That's a bit better. That is a 25.
What?
Wow. She doesn't seem to be trying to catch you out. She seems genuinely interested. And when you say yes, the notebook comes back out. She just scribbles another little thing before closing it and putting the book away. Well, you wish to know about the tower.
As a
I
start.
can provide a modicum of detail there. I assume you are new to the city.
Indeed, I've recently arrived. The charming folk have been showing me around, but I came up against a rather brick wall. Obviously, I'm looking to trade in gold. Is that the preferred currency?
That's acceptable.
Excellent.
Just one moment. She grabs a piece of parchment and quickly scribbles down a contract written out in common before sliding it towards you. 50 gold pieces. I will tell you everything I know about the tower and its inhabitants and context surrounding its use. I cannot guarantee you the quality of my information, but there is a reason I have a reputation in this street.
Indeed. I would like to read this contract in absolute full.
Okay. I will say, for the sake of brevity, there's no catches, there's no hidden tricks that you can see here. It seems to be written in the most plain, basic language possible because it's a very simple exchange of information.
Yeah, it's not like iPhone terms and conditions. It's
No,
like a couple
it
of pieces of paper. Yeah.
You can tell by just because of the context of what you're asking, it's very brief and to the point.
Okay. I'll make sure, check with, obviously I must check with my advisors very briefly and just check that they're happy with what's in there and that we don't want to ask anything else.
Would suggest you add some clause about her passing on this information to us and it being confidential. After all, your profile, Mr. Caraway, is quite high.
Indeed.
Good point, actually. Saying that she won't pass on to anybody that we've been asking at all.
Indeed.
No.
Yes, I'll motion to that. But would that be acceptable to you?
Well, I am an information broker, so I will have to ask for 60 gold coins instead if that's the case.
No,
That is
But
fine.
that
I think tolerable.
perfectly reasonable.
Please sign here. You have a deal.
One second. If I could just steal Master Calloway away for just one moment, and I will say to the group in hushed tones as well. Maybe we should ask for any information she has on our mutual friend, Mr. Harpel. If she
The
also
information is secret. I think that is perhaps a good idea. It depends how much extra she wants to charge.
yeah, if she's not going to say that people have been asking about the tower and its inhabitants and what goes on in there, and about
We may as well add that caveat. Yes.
Yes. Then perhaps if she knows anything about.
Perhaps we do it like this to barter. We say we'll show her an individual. We take a risk if she knows the face she tells us about it. If she doesn't know the face, she doesn't. But maybe she does it for an extra 5 gold. It's a risk either way.
Indeed, I think that sounds acceptable.
Either
So
way,
what is it you are? Go on.
I was just gonna say, either way, we're risking vulnerability, so may as well go all in, I suppose.
Also, maybe we might be able to get a deal if I could. Does this demon that we're looking at have horns? Yeah.
Yes, 2 very short red horns sticking out the top of her head.
Amazing. Okay. Then perhaps maybe we could ask for maybe whatever gold she supplies. Maybe I could try and say that maybe we could try and get a discount on the money that she's trying to from us. From infernal bloodline to infernal bloodline.
Wow.
Like an intimidating times.
Don't tell me, Liam, that you're relying on racial tension to get a discount. That's terrible.
I'm saying because I have a single horn protruding from my head that perhaps we could get a discount from being a local.
We also have a tiefling with us.
There's also a tiefling as well.
Aye.
Oh no. It's like that Harry Potter moment where they double the price for their brother.
I don't know if we should bargain.
Sorry.
He's trailed
No
off
worries.
then.
Yeah, you went kind of fuzzy.
Oh. Hello?
Aye.
I just think bargaining with her is extremely risky because she could just hike it up to whatever she wants. And if we don't pay it, she just doesn't give the information at all.
Alright, fair play. Fair play.
No, that's
Maybe we just get the information for the tower, then ask about the man.
That makes it make it a separate contract for the map.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And then
Do
we'll
one complete contract, happy, and then second question if
Yeah.
no great harm. I say that tentatively.
I think the secrecy is always worth paying the extra.
Yeah, so I'll get 50 gold out, or 60 gold out, sorry. And what's it we're asking exactly?
What the tower is, what goes on in there, what did we ask? What would you do? How would you get into chains? Is that right?
Yeah, what would the conditions be?
What types of people are kept in there?
Yeah.
recent Beelzebub related happenings as well in the city. Like
Yeah.
police taken in there recently, or people who've like
Yeah.
entered.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And then obviously that they don't tell anyone that we've asked.
Yeah.
Okay. So you hand over your 60 gold coins.
Yep.
She tucks it away. Okay. Listen closely, as I am only exchanging this information once. The tower in the center of the city. It is the Tower of Beelzebub. He is the archdevil of this layer of hell. The tower itself it serves as his home residence, the center of the city, and entertainment for the higher ranking devils here. Beelzebub, even as an archdevil, he does like his musings. He does this by continuing to offer out contracts to anybody that wishes his favor, his power, his influence. You can imagine. So, the tower is open to anybody who wishes to enter to strike up a deal with Beelzebub. There is usually a queue. It depends on the day how busy it is. When it comes to what you would need to do to be chained up in there, that is a bit more vague. As far as I'm aware, Beelzebub doesn't tend to keep prisoners, at least not for very long. It could just be that he has found a new plaything in terms of a mortal to torture. It could be this mortal could be chained up because they are filling out their end of a contract, and that is the bizarre stipulation that they have been given. Alternatively, they could have tried to break a contract, though I doubt being chained up is going to be the end result of a broken contract.
You
When it
break it.
comes to recent happenings, Beelzebub doesn't really leave his tower, or if he does so discreetly, and he never ventures into the city. If there's anything else I can expand upon, please do ask.
Can I quickly ask something, if that's all right? Happy to pay a
Yes.
little bit extra for it. What happened to the last person who broke their contract with Beelzebub?
That is another difficult question. As strange as it may sound, people break these contracts, or at least try to, all the time. Usually it gets them nowhere. They lose whatever it is that they have signed the contract for, and their soul is forfeit immediately. Sometimes a powerful devil will be sent to hunt down the individual. Sometimes they will just be left, and their punishment will await them in the future, maybe in their afterlife. It is hard to tell. It depends on the contract and the nature of that contract.
How does he use their souls?
Well, again, I think that depends on the contract. I'm speaking more generally in terms of all devils here, but sometimes a mortal soul will be used to become a devil itself. Sometimes they'll be used to work in the nine hells. Sometimes they will be used just as entertainment. Sometimes they'll be used to feed the power of the one who has signed the contract. It depends on the contract and the devil.
Thank you.
You mentioned recent events, that Beelzebub doesn't leave the tower very often. What recent events, as I say, were new here?
Now that's what you were asking. That's when you say recent events, there is not much difference between one day and the next in this city.
I was merely referring to, you said because of recent events he doesn't leave the tower very often.
Perhaps I misspoke.
Insight
I
check?
meant with regard to recent events.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, cool.
Is there anything else?
I'll start. Excuse me 1 second. Let me consult with my sidebar.
I will offer one free piece of information.
Indeed.
Striking a contract with me is far more beneficial than risking much more by striking one up with Beelzebub. Though, if anybody asks, I said no such thing.
Of course. I consider that probably discretion, of course. Discretion.
Must you stop the contract, or can you mutually refuse once you're inside? Or must a bargain be struck?
Oh no, all contracts have to be willfully agreed to. There can be no coercion, or the contract is null and void. That is not how we do things.
So if you cannot subscribe to your terms or vice versa, there's no harm done.
Correct. Every offer may be declined. There will be no ill effects of doing so.
So, do we think it would be worth getting an additional contract to find out, as Nith mentioned?
Well, she seems to be giving us some kind of additional information without a contract, so we could just flat out ask.
I
You've
suppose
been
no
pretty
harm in
forthcoming,
asking.
yeah.
No harm in asking, I suppose.
Also, do you think maybe it would be beneficial if we asked about, perhaps? I mean, I'm completely out of my depth here, but maybe this person might also have information on this Lelalia character.
I was thinking perhaps that might be something to do. The question really is, I worry about spies.
But she has agreed to not pass on information that we've been asking, and also, I don't know. It just seems like if the Lelalia is indeed causing as big a stir, as people seem to believe, then maybe whispers of her name, or maybe she struck a deal with something down here, or maybe somebody from the hells has mentioned something, or I don't know how any of this works. This is not what I was anticipating when we were discussing about going to hell. So I'm just I don't know. Maybe not.
I think it's quite a possibility. I defer to the rest of you, of course.
We're sort of flying blind here, really. We know we have to find this
Really
guy with
blind.
the information he has, and, maybe he came down here to make a deal with Beelzebub about because of Lelia.
Maybe.
I mean,
What was
unless
what was the name of the spell scroll that he was working on again? Sorry.
I've got Maladomini, or is that not the seventh layer of the hells? Isn't it? That's the layer we're in, isn't it?
What was the spell again? Sorry, you. Or Matt?
What you're asking about?
The spell
The
scroll.
spell scroll that you have
Oh,
that's half finished.
I think it was called something like a blue veil.
Yeah, maybe we ask about that. Maybe we ask about that spell and the intricacies of it first before we ask about the about Mr. Harpel, because maybe it might throw into it, because if she knows, she might be like, oh well, there was this person who was also looking for a specific ingredient for that spell here recently, and then we could go, oh really, what happened to him, and then we don't have to say his name or anything.
That is true.
That's a good idea.
Well, the full name of the thing is Dream of the Blue Veil.
Yeah, maybe we ask about that. Has anybody here ever heard of that kind of that spell?
It seems quite new. I haven't heard of that.
With Lavender and her knowledge of the arcane, no?
Anyone with proficiency in Arcana can make an Arcana check to see if they recognize the name.
My character is not proficient in Arcana.
16.
14 for
12
Lavender.
tomorrow.
Okay. Even between the three of you discussing the name, none of you have ever heard that name before.
Perhaps in the spell he was creating.
18.
Makes sense.
Okay, even with an 18. Neither you have heard that spell name before.
Maybe we ask this person about this particular spell, because, like I said, if it's such a rare spell or a powerful spell or something that you as a collective group of spellcasters wouldn't have knowledge of, then it seems like a quite niche, specific area. So I can imagine that maybe the components, or maybe the need to transpose it onto paper might have a specific circumstance to do so, possibly.
I think that it didn't half written. I think it might have been that he was making the spell, and that nobody might hear of that. That's my only concern. It may be a waste of a question.
Shit.
But maybe he needed something from here, and he couldn't avoid it. He couldn't complete it until he got what he needed from this plane.
I genuinely think if we have this contract that she won't say anything, that we can risk. Like, I can minor illusion his face, and I can say, look, for an extra 10 gold, I will put it in. I will say, if you know this guy, you tell us about him under the same, terms as you don't say anything. If you don't, you don't,
I mean, that kind of seems like we're trying to strong arm a change to the deal, and from what I've been gathering from our gentrified friend here, and the rest of the place around us, it doesn't seem like trying to change a deal once a contract's been written that seems like trying to get out of a contract or change it mid-thing.
They separate deal. I can say, look, he's a friend of a friend. We were asked to ask if he stopped by, something like that.
Maybe we do it as a second contract, maybe, like
Said, I think second.
It's probably more sensible. I think
instead of just trying to change this one, that seems like a bad idea.
Sure. I just think as long as it's in writing that she won't say anything, it's safe enough to.
Yeah, but I think that maybe we just get another contract in writing that she.
Yes, of course, yes.
I mean, how about this? If it doesn't fall under the same umbrella of information regarding the tower, we could just strike up another one if she refuses. Just say, do you have any knowledge of this guy going to the tower at all? And if she says no, or like she's not going to do it free, then we strike up a second bargain.
Yeah.
She seems rather willing to negotiate.
Indeed.
Well, I'm deferring it.
What is it you are asking, actually?
Come on, party faces. What's
Did you see this guy going in there?
Yeah, I'll gesture to Lavender and say, my friend here, she has a question. I'm, as I've said, I'm new here. I don't really know much. My friend might be looking for someone. Could you please, if you could show him? I think you have some skill, don't you, to kind of face it.
Just thought that as I would like to tie this in somewhere to our original deal, if possible, in terms, and that this person who is a friend of a friend, he does not like to be known, and I would appreciate your privacy in this matter, if possible, and that you will not repeat that we've spoken to you about it. If I show you this person, will you tell us what you know?
Well, if you're asking for information on a specific individual, that is of considerably more cost. And a new
what are we talking?
For information on any specific person, my base rate is 200 gold.
I don't have that kind of cash.
We could all chip in.
Oh, that's what I've got.
Wait, how much gold do you need? Sorry.
What if she doesn't even know the guy?
Yes, you don't. This is the caveat. we show you him after, so there's a chance that you will get this information for free. Why can't you do it for, say, half price? There's a half a chance that you won't even know this man.
Okay, well, how about we write into the contract that if I do not, I can give you a partial refund.
Seems fair.
That sounds fair.
You mean full refund?
Don't push your luck.
That's not pushing it. You don't just take the first price. That's ridiculous.
Give me a persuasion check.
But Thog's not trying to be persuasive, she's trying to be intimidating.
Oh, in which case,
Oh no, she isn't.
Oh no, please don't get into a fight with a demon!
No, of course not.
Just because she's
Even
better at
I just
intimidation.
picked up all my dice. What are we doing?
yeah.
I'm gonna. Don't worry, Liam. I'm gonna blame it on you anyway.
What?
Because you picked up your dice.
Pick on the single horned one. I see how it is.
But no, hey, Thog hasn't even got horns, so don't go there. But yeah, okay, so yeah, I'll try and persuade. Obviously, there's no sense in trying to like get violent. Thog can follow simple rules. And this is a flat roll for me, so you know, let's go. 14, not unrespectable.
Nice.
How about this? I'll give you 150 back if I do not know the individual.
Done.
Yeah, that's
Thog's just like gonna tense her biceps and like kiss them, like, and that's how you negotiate.
How much has everyone got? I've got 130 on me.
How much was it in total? Sorry, I missed that part.
200.
200.
Yeah.
I've got. I can cover it.
Miss Sarah just pulls out a bag that's very heavy and just like starts counting out 200 pieces and gives it to Lavender.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Here you go. She'll pass it over and sign the contract, providing it says all of the things that have been requested.
What exactly are you checking for?
Oh no.
That
This is stressing me out.
Good.
the city of diplomacy. It's so that if she knows the guy, she'll tell us everything she knows about him. If she does, and we'll receive 200 gold coins for that information. If she doesn't know the guy, she'll return 150 of those coins back to us free of charge and
Also,
information.
won't say to anybody.
And
that
also
we've
won't
been
say
asking
anything.
about them, and or won't pass on that we've been asking about them and stuff like that.
Yeah, and all that jazz.
Secrecy of the utmost importance.
Okay, you check through it. All of those things do appear to be in there, yes.
Except the thing that we should have asked that we'll remember tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
So you sign this contract. Show me this individual then.
Yeah, she will minor illusion, her best recreation of Melkor from the painting in the tower.
Yeah.
Interesting. And do you have a name?
His name is Malcor Harpel. We know that he is a wizard.
She gives a very subtle smile and nods. I have heard of this individual, you'll be pleased to know.
Oh.
He has made several visits to the city in the past few weeks. He did always seem to be after information, though never contacted me directly. He was very much a window shopper, if you will. However, the last I heard, he decided to take matters into his own hands. I cannot be too sure of the circumstances, but rumor has it that a human wizard, likely Malcor, was captured recently trying to sneak into the tower in the center of the city. I cannot say with certainty, but I believe he was trying to acquire either information or something else without the signing of a contract. And, well, that's not a good idea around here, especially when it involves Beelzebub.
Is there any, in terms of the information he was asking for, do you know what that was at all? Did you get any inklings about like what he was searching for? Or did he also swear, make various brokers swear to secrecy?
Well, as I say, he never spoke to me.
Rumors.
Yes. I do not know specifically, but it did pique the interests of a few in my circle, simply because this city sells a lot, and he never could seem to find what he was after. So that in and of itself was intriguing.
Did he speak to anyone from your circle at all who we could maybe go to for a chat?
Well, if he did, I would not be at liberty to say for similar reasons that I will not be disclosing this conversation.
I see. So probably yes, but you can't say who. That's fine. That's fair enough. I thought it was worth a shot.
Was there any information on how he actually tried to sneak into the tower?
I'm afraid this is all rumor on the streets. I cannot even guarantee you that that is the truth of it. So when it comes to details, I do not have any to provide.
That is fair. It is, I suppose, useful to only say what you truly know, to be certain.
How is the tower defended, by the way? Just going back to what we were talking about earlier.
As part of our previous contract, the word defended is a bit of a stretch. As you are aware, there are no weapons permitted here. It is very rare that someone attempts to use magic in any offensive way, because they are simply very quickly struck down when they do. The tower has a few guards around the outside, but they are not really needed. It is very much a open door policy, so long as you wait in line, of course.
You mentioned that he was trying to acquire information without a contract, but we were not told that this was illegal. You said it's not a wise idea, but why would that get him into trouble?
Well, while it is not illegal, it is the way we do things around here. It is the same way wherever you come from. If someone were to try and steal objects or secrets without proper authority or deals in place, they would be punished by those who that would negatively affect. And so I assume the same has become of him. Is there any other contracts you'd wish to sign with me today? And the smile grows on her face.
Out of curiosity, do you know anyone who's good at who knows the inside of that tower well? Would know how to navigate it?
There is not much to navigate for the bits that I'm aware. I am sure there is complexities to that tower that no broker would know, but that is for Beelzebub. The public sections of the tower are very simple. You shall be shown the way when you arrive. It is, as I say, it is not well defended. It is not well manned. There is no uh, suspicion around here, for we know what the rules are and how to follow them.
How is someone struck down if they break the rules in that sense? Like, for example, if someone were to use offensive magical capabilities, how would they be taken down exactly?
Well, I'm sure you've seen the arenas around the city. They patrol. They watch out for these things.
I'm more
Uh,
asked because,
if,
sorry, go
well,
ahead.
say you were to use offensive magic on me.
Oh,
Anybody who witnessed that would very swiftly be handing you over to the guards. I know it is frowned upon to tell on one another in some mortal societies, but around here you do not want to be associated with any kind of law break.
oh, no, I didn't. I didn't mean that. I wasn't at all insinuating that. It was more. Malcor was quite a powerful guy, as far as we know, and I'm just wondering maybe if anyone had seen anything, not exactly like fireworks exactly, but anything effectively if his sneaking didn't go very sneakily, and there was some retribution for that people may have witnessed.
Well, I do believe if he had tried to get into a fight, I doubt he would. I doubt the rumors we would have heard would have been as they were. Most fights around here, the stories end with a very gruesome death indeed. We do not have a judicial system, as it were.
But as he has snuck in and not used any violence per se, they are, perhaps he's still alive, is what you're saying.
Perhaps. I have not visited the tower, nor have any contacts that have visited the tower in the past few days, however. So, on that instance, I cannot say.
One last question regarding the tower. Should we decide to go in and possibly make a deal, if we were to get there and not like the terms of the deal, for example, you say that no contract can be coerced or forced into. Could we then choose to leave if we were not happy with the terms of the deal we offered?
Of course. You may be verbally humiliated, but no harm would come to you.
Thank you. I was just intrigued as to what the protocol would be. Thank you.
If unless anybody else has any questions to ask, what is the price of the knowledge of the nearest establishment for a drink?
5 gold, she says with a big grin.
Get lost. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you for your time.
I think she's had enough of tourists.
Fair enough. I think I
Yeah.
would been too. We've sort of been barking questions at her.
Very helpful.
That is the service I provide.
Well, if we're in the neighbourhood again, we'll recommend you.
Yes, what was your name?
What did you say, sorry?
What was your name?
My name is Tony.
Information broker Tony. Thank you for your assistance.
Not ballsack.
It's written in the law all the devils are now called Tony.
Oh, I thought the pronunciation was balsamic.
Information. Right. Because is it getting late now? It was like 8 p.m. when we got here.
Is there a way to tell? Oh yeah, we have.
Yeah.
We've got
All 6
watches.
watches. We've got 3 days.
Watches.
They are working. The current time is 12:30 a.m.
Brilliant.
I think the hitting the hay might not be a bad idea, as much as I don't really love the idea of sleeping in this place.
Tomorrow can be our doing day. Today was our travel, tomorrow can be doing.
Yeah. We have to sleep if we're gonna be here 3 days.
Indeed.
And by the looks and the sounds of it, this place is reasonably safe. Surprisingly so.
I think we could fit in at any establishment here if we needed to.
No, the rules, like Doug's going to pipe out, like, she doesn't do it very often, it's like the rules, as far as I can tell, and like the whole time you guys have been, asking these questions, it's taken her this long to figure out. The rules don't say anything about blatant stealing. So who's to say that door we left relatively undefended will be the same as when we get back?
What door? There's no door.
Exactly. There seems to be that if those are the only laws mentioned, it means no property law, no
You mean
no
this new
trespass.
beautiful shield that is twice as tall as us?
Pretty much, yes. The way I'm going to have to use it if things go south, yes. But yeah, just like Thug's got a worried look of, hang on a minute, we've left the door wide open the whole time. But on the upside, at least
is closed.
indeed. But on the upside, at least we don't have to worry about locking it, and we can always set a watch when we sleep.
Saying we go back to stay there?
It's the only place we know that's free to stay.
Indeed, we could.
I'm just more thinking that
This-
there's benefits of going to a pub as well, in the sense that there's always the gossip of the locals and stuff,
Yeah,
even though it's
that's
not
what
necessarily free. Just a thought. And there's no beer there, of course.
I drink.
Love it.
If you want to save some money, given we just like forked out a bunch of gold to a demon, we could always go there for a pint, see what we hear, and then just go on back to the place we appeared.
Well, that's the
Probably the best place to find more information for the price of a beer. Depends who drinks there.
Indeed. We'll just get there and find it a bar full of information brokers, like, oh, why am I bothered? And they're all called Information Broker Tony. Life is so hard sometimes for the modern adventurer. It used to be just break down the door and kill the thing. Now it's talk. Ugh.
Right. Shall we have a little look around?
Yeah, are you trying to find a bar or tavern first, and then going back to your little house?
If it is not too much of a personal question, what is everybody's budgets? Are we looking for, travel lodge, or are we looking for, Hilton type? What are we in between?
I think in between medium, comfortable, rustic, because the only way to stay in money is to not spend it.
Keep Premier in, like a
Yeah,
bit of a
always-
travel lodge, but like not quite a Hilton.
Yeah, always go Premier in.
Yeah, nice and safe. You know what you're getting.
and like that's like putting Fog's level of
Yeah.
upmarket would be Ibis for her.
I'll take please heated air conditioning if possible.
Yeah.
Air conditioning
Because
and
those
9
sounds super
hells.
nice.
That's Hilton minimum.
I mean, we literally got blasted in the face with a bunch of ice before, so cold does exist somewhere in this plane of hell.
That's not air conditioning. That's reconditioning your area
Ultra air conditioning.
into Swiss cheese.
Well, we should pay for Nith and Lavender because they put up all that gold for the information.
Indeed, they should stay free.
Wherever we stay.
That seems fair.
I mean, we're all part of the same group, so I was just trying to help out the group and benefit all of us. There's really no need for any special treatment at all. It was just gold.
I mean, you are impressively minted. I'm just going to say that now. I won't ask how or why, because it's not my business, but, that's a bold
Drinks are
thing
on
to say.
this.
Well,
That's it. Drinks on this.
I've been living, patrolling, and fighting in the forest of Amtar now for the better part of over 5 years, and it is devoid of a lot of civilization. There are, little places burst here and there, but again, them themselves can be quite dangerous places. So, unless there was anything that we particularly needed as a group, then myself and the other members of my regiment of the Dark Song Knights, we just lived off the land. We all had our particular, areas of expertise. So we just kind of just pulled together.
Can I insight that, if that's okay? Just out of sheer curiosity.
Yeah, sure, go for it.
I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just
No.
curious. Not that I'm very good at insight, to be fair. Yeah, 11.
That's fine. I'm going to roll.
It makes
deception.
sense though.
No,
It makes sense though, doesn't it? It's always
I'm
check
gonna.
the door for traps, incite Liam, kill the mimic.
I mean, you're not wrong. Is this just persuasion,
Rinse
Matt,
and
or
repeat.
what do you want me to roll?
It's completely up to you.
Oh yeah, no, she's not lying. Like, she's telling you the truth. Like, she said a couple of times now that she's been, living and fighting demons in this forest now.
No, I believe that part. It's just where
Yeah.
she got the money from.
Well,
Well then, if you spent your life fighting them, why not spend a spoil in hell?
well,
Why not? To hell with it.
Also, there's quite an interesting thing here. Look, and she gets the money bag out, and you notice that, like, a lot of the coins, I guess, that you guys have are like current, like, rotations of currencies. The coins that she has are like an eclectic mix of like really old motherfucking coins that none of you have really seen before, but they all say, 1 gold piece, to like weird bits that have like chips and bites out of them and stuff out of it. And she just goes, some of this, the interesting thing about the forest of Amtar is that it's alive in a sense, and it changes, and it allows you through certain paths, changes certain paths. However the trees want to be at any given moment is how the forest wants to be. It was changed after the spell plague, but the thing is that in there it tends to hide and reveals ancient and lost cities, civilizations, you might say, and some of these seem to be hotspots for demon incursions and just places that they want to be. Some of them may have a reason to be there. We didn't really ask a lot of questions. There was more slicing than there was asking. But sometimes we would, scavenge around these places, and other times it's for some reason some of the yokels, for example, who would transform into humanoid-looking things needed to be a bit more convincing, so they would, carry coins or whatever, and we just collectively as a group kind of pulled our resources, and this is what's mine. And as she shows you the bag and shows you like the coins and stuff, it's about 800 gold. Just chilling with and like showing you these weird coins, and then just kind of does the bag back up and puts it back.
No, that's fair enough. I didn't mean to be rude. I was just plainly curious.
No. Your inquisitiveness is
Annoying,
great.
I know.
No.
It's the researcher side of me.
No, not at all. Your inquisitiveness is great. It is beautiful in its own right, and I will offer as much kindness and honesty to you as I can. Never
Just a heads
call
up, it is not always wise to be fetching cash in the shopping district. Lots of pickpockets about,
Well, it seems like that this place. Anyway, the one thing I would say, Eve, is that don't call your inquisitiveness annoying. Kindle it. It is a good point. It is something that defines you, and it is a good thing. And she smiles at you.
Agreed.
Thanks. I'll bear that in mind. It's nice to hear someone earning legit coin for a change rather than. And she kind of like produces her bag of coins, which are all just soaked, just lightly soaked in blood.
I mean, I wouldn't exactly say mine are legit. My hands are equally covered in blood. Just demonic.
That's fair. Well, pub. If
Sounds like a great idea.
It's midnight and I'm craving a beer, whatever that form that takes place in hell.
Question. Who here has actually drunk alcohol before?
I have.
Me, definitely.
I certainly haven't, but I can make some.
I've drunk a few times.
Have you not drunk before, Nick?
No, I haven't. I was just wondering if anybody would recommend anything that tastes nice.
You don't really drink alcohol because it tastes nice. You take it to forget that you're an adult with problems.
Thog is going to drape an arm around Nith's shoulder and say,
Too close, Kate. Too close.
Say, Nith, this must be a fantasy game, Kate. Thog is going to drape an arm around Nith's shoulders and say, Nith, let one girl introduce you to another drink called a strawberry daiquiri. It's going to change your life. And don't listen to what these lot might say. Beer is bitter and horrible. Ale is much smoother. But still, strawberry daiquiri, I'm telling you. And she's just going to start walking off in a random direction with Nith under her arm. She hasn't got a clue where she's going. That's not the point.
Oh, that sounds great. I like strawberries.
Oh, trust me. This is definitely going to change your life then. More than you thought.
You quietly wonder to yourself what the chancer is going to be of a frozen strawberry daiquiri knocking around in the depths of hell.
That's why it's called a luxury. Doesn't have to be frozen.
You make your way. You make your way through the city streets, down a few smaller alleys and back again, looking for this middle of the road establishment. And eventually you stumble across what seems to be quite a large looking inn, that's decked out in all manner of hell symbolism. There is bones attached to the walls. There are fires appearing from everywhere. It's called the Broken Tooth and Bloody Bone. And it's kind of like that house down the street that really goes all out for Halloween. It's almost a bit much. But it seems to be like a nice middle of the road establishment. And upon entering, the whole outer facade fades away instantly as you are now in what could be any nice looking tavern on the prime material plane. The majority of the inhabitants seem to be human or elf. There are two devils that are sat in the corner. They don't appear to be drinking or eating. They're just kind of observing. And yeah, it's very quickly apparent that the owner of this establishment is just trying to make the outside of the building fit in as well as humanly possible and trying a bit too hard. But going to the bar, Thog, are you asking for strawberry daiquiris?
Damn right. You're damn right. Locke's asking for 2 strawberry daiquiris. In hell.
Okay.
Apparently,
the
you can get
bartender-
anything here.
The bartender doesn't recognize the name, but upon your description, they do go away for a couple of minutes and come back with their best approximation of a strawberry daiquiri. It's clear that when they made it, there were attempts to use ice, but even in the transition from making it to getting it to the bar for you, most of the ice is melted away. It's now just small chunks because of just the ambient heat around here.
Perfect.
But they definitely will sell that to you. Whoever wants a strawberry daiquiri, that's going to be a silver piece. Anyone else
At
just
that
wants-
At
anyone
that
else
price.
just wants- Oh, you! How many are you having?
Thug will probably have 2. One's never quite enough.
I'll
But
try
she's
one
a
as
big
well.
girl.
Yeah. Lavender would like a bottle of wine, please.
Yeah.
Just to herself.
Moreau will ask for a fine Chianti.
Okay. Everyone else, then you're looking at 1 copper piece per drink.
Sweet.
If you're asking for a bottle of wine, you're looking at like 3 copper pieces.
Yeah, no
Cool.
probs.
Now, what do you think of this, Sniff?
Matt, what does Niff think of strawberry
Strawberry
daiquiri?
daiquiris, yes.
Give me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh god, I'll
Okay.
roll one as well.
Well,
Oh!
I rolled a 2,
Oh,
and with my Constitution saving throw, that is a natural 4.
So you really liked it then?
So the flavor, considering the kind of meals and drinks you're used to,
Yep.
the flavor is almost overpoweringly sweet.
Mhm.
Like you can see the contortion hit Nith's face straight away. And then, couple sips. Wow. Nith, you're drunk. You're not. You just have a bit of a buzz. You can feel already.
Yeah.
But what's the difference to you, eh?
So 14-year-old drunk then.
Yeah, literally.
absolutely.
Absolutely 100%.
Perfect.
Are any of you doing anything as you drink and chill in this tavern?
Lavender's kind of just like sipping her wine as the evening draws along. She's keeping an ear out for any mention of any one breaking their contract recently or rumors that are originating from the tower.
Okay. Give me a
I'll
perception check.
I'll assist with that, and also I will, if you would allow it, Matt, give a bardic inspiration,
Ooh,
so you get a D10 to that as well.
a D10. Nice. Okay, that is that perception, Matt? Yeah. 17.
Okay. Listening in over the course of the evening, most of the conversations in the tavern are the typical you'd expect, talking about friends, family, jobs. Nothing too interesting. The only reference to the tower or anything that you're after that you do hear is a group of young-ish men who every now and again the volume goes up to annoying levels, and a few of them making jests at each other of, oh, well, why don't you go to the tower and strike up a deal then? All in humour and all swiftly rejected. When it comes to anything else more specific than that, it's kind of boring conversation for where you are.
That's fine. That tells her that going to the tower is quite a serious thing, so that's fair play.
Anything else anyone wants to do?
I'll
Do you
just.
recognise what fruit this is? Of sheer curiosity. Is it actually strawberry?
Yeah, give me a perception. Yeah, give me a perception check.
Is it actually strong?
Can I, like, as a as a zoologist, the juggle get advantage on that, or I'm guessing that's pushing it.
If you describe to me how you're checking, maybe how you
Basic-
is it just by the taste?
So smell, taste, swirling it around like in a mouth to like check like the texture of any seeds if they're there. Like the texture of like the actual plant itself, it's fibrous or not, or
I won't give you advantage, but if you want to change it to a nature check, you can.
ironically my nature's actually worse than my perception. Not a very good ranger really. 23.
Okay. It's definitely strawberry. It might not be the freshest of strawberries. You can definitely pick up a bit of a tang there, where you're suspicious about what this may have looked like before it was in the drink, but it still tastes okay. Like there's nothing about it that that turns your nose or your taste buds. But it is definitely strawberry.
There was mold of them. I suppose it's gone now, and Evil just talk to herself and continue drinking.
Any more for any more?
Moreau will just sort of. Well, I didn't think I'd be sat here in hell having a glass of wine after 3 or 4 hours. I think that went better than expected. I don't know about you all.
Certainly, I did not know
So
what
far,
horrors
so
they would
good.
be facing us.
I did not know this would be so sweet.
Yeah, Thog is keeping like a very quiet eye on this to make sure she doesn't have more than two.
You know those videos of like babies and dogs trying lemons.
Yes.
That's what you're
Yes.
watching right now as I continue to try and drink this drink, as to
And
not
it's giving
look like a
Thog.
fucking imbecile in front of you all.
It's giving Thog nothing but happiness, and she's just like, and everyone can see she's just like murmuring quiet encouragement, like not like to drink more, but like just take your time, and it might be a bit strong, just relax into it and enjoy the feeling, but don't drink too much, otherwise you'll get the kind of headache I'm sure you've seen others have.
Looking around, what is everybody's drink of choice?
In the group, you mean?
If they like Lavender would probably ask that anyway, but if so have you all managed to get something that you like? What is everyone's drink of choice usually?
Top to bottom Discord list. Let's go.
Wrong, Chris.
Finish your starting.
Oh, a glass of red wine.
I'm much the same, Moro. Tessa? What about you?
Oh, just ale for me. Not sure about this strawberry business. You can always count on a good ale.
So I'm assuming that yours is the wonderful strawberry doctor? Yes?
Well, you'd think so. Only the strongest warriors of the clan tend to drink strawberry daiquiri as a celebration drink. And I've just finished a particularly long campaign, and you see Thog like there in her battered armour and rugged features, and there doesn't seem to be an inch of her that hasn't got a scar on it. And she's like, "Yep, that's and that's it's a good time to celebrate with friends." And I think our meeting, if not, our meeting was blessed by battle, which I'm sure we should get on smashingly. And when she says the word smashingly, it's clear she's being very literal.
And
God.
you eat?
Normally I don't. Normally I drink ale, but this strawberry drink's okay. I don't think the strawberry's the highest quality, but there's a lot of rum in it. I can get behind that.
Sounds like a good disinfectant.
Sarah, how are you finding your first alcohol?
Well, it's definitely different from water.
Is it not something you have? Or is it just sort of outlawed when you do your fighting and things?
Well, and Nithsira does that kind of one droopy eye look around as if she's trying to be incredibly sneaky and goes, "Would you like to know a secret?
Always.
I've never drunken before."
Oh no, I know that. I can tell.
"I know, because I just told you." "Shh. Don't tell anyone else, though. I don't think anybody else has figured it out yet."
I'm not going to get a straight answer out of that one till the morning. Tia, you also said you don't drink, no?
No, I am drinking something called death.
What? Sorry, I had to switch earphones.
Oh, just something that's called death.
Death?
DETH. Yes. It's a sort of tea. I bought it a little bit earlier.
I'm surprised you don't want any Maria, Tia.
I was
Maria,
wondering when someone was going to make that joke.
what is that?
And Thog will explain a Tia Maria. So Tia.
Oh. Well, I'm not so sure. Big Sis did forbid me from drinking anything strong.
That's probably a wise decision as Thog just finishes her second strawberry daiquiri.
Oh, you were
Andrea.
drinking strawberry daiquiris.
They do say
Zaya,
that,
how about you?
The closest thing to water this dump has to offer, really.
Not a drinker either?
I like to keep my head clear, if I'm being honest.
What would you like to drink?
I am fine with what I'm having.
What are you having?
The closest thing to water.
Would tea be alright?
I suppose if they can offer tea.
Well, they can't necessarily offer tea, but I can. And Tia pulls out an alchemy jug.
Nice. Now give him the mayonnaise.
I have been making quite a lot of tea with this one. It's a new brand called Death. I haven't quite sure where it comes from, but I think it might have manifested from Chuk somehow. At least that's what the packaging said.
No offense, but if you're not quite sure what it is, I'll stick with what I have.
Well, it is a type of tea at least.
There are new rules on that nowadays. Everything has to be labeled if it's sold for that sort of thing, you know.
Even in hell.
For safety.
Say Thog. Sorry, go on.
Oh, sorry. I just thought that yes. Just like you, I did think that the naming was quite weird. It did sound something else. Now please go on.
Say, Thog, you said you were celebrating a victory. You want to tell us a little bit more? How was your journey here? What brought you here in the first place? If you don't mind my asking. I have not heard your story yet.
So Thog will say, look round and say, yeah, we've got some time. And she'll give, and she'll say, no, I'm not going to tell you every detail because that would take, maybe a year and a half over several hours each week. But and then she'll proceed. She'll say that I recently visited a place kind of like this, really, but instead of being all fire and brimstone, it was all kind of depressed and gothic looking setting. And then she'll give an abridged version of Curse of Strahd, a very abridged version. Although she would, of course, say at the very end, but if that story, she'll tell a very short story of going in, kicking ass and slaying vampires, and generally, letting the girl escape the baddie and giving the baddie a good kicking in his own home and whatnot. And then she'll leave out everything that happened after that, apart from she's been trapped, she got the letter after she escaped the demiplane. And then she'll be like, right. But if there's one thing I learned at the end of all that, it really stuck with me. It's that every time you visit a tower and you check for a secret door and find one, you need to look for another straight after. Oh yeah. Look, Eve, I did it as a joke. I didn't actually expect it to work.
Are you talking to Eve Kate or Kate Eve?
Yes. Yes. I'm talking to both, so therefore yes. It's grammatically.
I can't believe you slayed an actual vampire! That's really cool!
Not just the vampire, they were the easy bit, it was the vampire lord that was really hard. But once then she taps the spot where the hilt used to be of the sun sword. And she's like, damn, really missed that. And as you're looking at Thog, it comes into account that she's always been strapped with weaponry, as everyone's ever known to strap weaponry. And a quick look, and it's like, and Thog's like patting around, and as she pats, you see her pat a total of 12 times before she finished patting separate weapon holsters. And yes, I do mean that. And yes, I am well below my carrying capacity. Yes, those bloody direwolves got mentioned, don't you worry. And then she's like, yeah, I really miss my armory. You always feel naked without at least 10 weapons on me. Having 0 is just not acceptable.
Moreau. Sorry, go ahead.
Have you ever tried fighting with your hands?
Yeah. And then she looks at her hands and you can see that just as scarred as the rest of her. She's like, the problem is, it just takes longer. And once you've beaten something half to death with your fists, they tend to give up. And while I have no compunction in taking prisoners, I do try and do my best to put the good word in and whatnot. And then she pulls out a piece of paper and puts it on the bar, and you can see in poor writing looks like it's mass-produced a pamphlet that says, "Are you getting your morning glory?" And it says, but nobody seems to really take my motivational pamphlets for the morning glory seriously. I don't think I'm going wrong.
Hang on, I'm just gonna roll a perception check really quickly.
Go on, what are you trying to deceive?
21, so I'm gonna assume Eve saw that and basically a daiquiri spurted out of her nose. And she's trying to stifle herself from laughing.
The thing is, Thog is being deadly serious. It's like she's not, she has you can tell, like, from the story, she has a sense of humour.
Even funnier.
It's just like, she's being dead serious. Like, I just don't understand where I'm going wrong. There's like people, after I've beaten them half to death, they just don't seem to take my motivational pamphlet seriously. It's how I got it. It's
like the touching cloth Mitchell and Webb sketch.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But it's like, it's one of those moments, and she's like, and Thog says, I don't understand it. It's just not. Some people just don't understand. Some things are and some things are not number wang.
Well, I'm not sure if this will help you in any form or shape, but if it would make you feel less naked was the word that you used, and
Yep.
I would hand Thorg a thing that looks like a scalp and a hilt of a sword.
Oh, thanks.
A
Now you,
scalp?
now
But you see that there is a catch to it. It's more of a decorate.
that's okay. So you say scalpel or scabbard?
Scabbard that you put the sword in.
Okay, so now you see a 13th weapon holster on Thog's body with an empty hilt on it, and Thog's there like, I really appreciate this. And you see, like, she's actually deeply touched. I really miss my son's sword. That hilt's been through a lot. But this, really appreciate this.
If you were to pull the hilt out of the scabbard, well, there isn't anything.
And Thog's just going to pat it, and she's like, "Don't worry, I can pretend." And then she just holds it up and pulls it out, and you can see Thog holding a scabbard in her fist, and in no way does she look any less dangerous than when she's holding a sword.
At least that won't get confiscated, I think.
Moreau's gonna.
This is worrying. Better keep his hands in check. Put my hands in my pockets more often.
Moreau's gonna look forward, and he's gonna look like directly at Thog, like, and you've seen quite like serious and quite like jovial and thingy, but he looks like really interested as Thog finishes the story and says, "May I ask, how did you get out of this domain?"
Well, I actually left twice. The first time I was travelling with my good friend Linvala, which I would have mentioned in the story, but we didn't know Lelalia was trouble at that point. We just thought, every god has their zealot, and and she's tapping her pamphlet, lovingly. And she's like, "Of course, I wouldn't say I'm one of those religious nutters." Not that you've seen Thog do any preaching, to be completely honest. She's not pushed it on anybody at all. She's not even mentioned the Morning Lord up to this point. And she's like, but people find some small measure of strength. And the first time I was doing a job, with Linvala, like I mentioned in the meeting, and I know you weren't there, Murray, but you would have been there, to say, went and took a shard from one of the elemental planes. That Thog didn't understand at the time was, oh yeah, I'm just helping my friend, and realised later on, hang on a minute, this is a bad thing. I have made a mistake. And then the second time, returning to Barovia, the leaving wasn't the issue. It was the being able to find it again, should she ever need to. It's gone the other way now. Leaving's easy, finding is hard, rather than finding is easy, leaving's hard. And then she's going to finish with a note of, I feel sorry for the people that I left behind, because I know my companion was a bit, strict, and she says this like with the meaningful, like, strict when it comes to punishment for perceived wrongs rather than actual wrongs.
Indeed, it's normally the other way around from what I hear. Hard to leave, easy to get in.
I wouldn't recommend it as a holiday destination.
And Moreau's just gonna nod and sit back and go back to his wine.
This Linvala, you called her. You called her a zealot. Do you think that the religion is set up in the way to brainwash them in that way, or do you think that was her in particular, in your opinion?
So I'm glad, if we're all around the table at the moment, really I'm sure Liam would just be looking at me like, what are you going to say next?
Nah, man, I'm really enjoying it, like, genuinely.
So no, not in a bad way, just in a, what is he going to say? But,
I'm kind of worried about what Thog's going to reveal, but other than that,
Well, That's the thing. Thog's never been anything but brutally honest.
It's very true, and I'm very
Um,
worried.
it's not, it doesn't not that she doesn't hold back the truth. It's just if she asks, she rarely says no. But no, so Thog's gonna, she's gonna give it. She gives it a moment, like like do you thought of this is actually a very serious question, and she's going to say, well, from what I've heard, from both of my travelling companions throughout Barovia, who came from old faith, I would say that they certainly take them in young, if not from birth, or find those who. I mean, any religion has been known to grow from finding those who have lost their way and giving them purpose. This is not uncommon in religion. But the dogma seems rather harsh, and the following strict to a degree of punishment that I personally don't condone, even in my strictest moments. I would not condone that level of strictness as orcish, let alone humane. I would consider the strictness to be on the same level as the strictness of the contracts enforced in this locale. But at the same time, I can tell that there's there's but the belief by itself is not it's not bad. That's I found religion in a dark place. And she taps the pamphlet again, and it's like, but then I also found that the losing of. I don't think these are ones who would be persuaded away from their goal. Should they lose, they are certain to a degree that zealot is the lightest way and the only way I know how to describe them. Fanatic zealot. They're not ones to change their mind ever.
A little cultish, perhaps?
I think so. From what I have seen, I think so. But I wouldn't know. I should tap the pamphlet yet again. I follow a better way. Nothing cold. The Morning Lord's never cultish, and she's there tapping a pamphlet in his name. But that's for people to come to me to talk about, not for me to talk to others. I think the outer workings of her church are ones of discipline and spreading her good word about herself, not necessarily spreading her good word.
I see. And the members such as that are quite difficult to persuade away. Did they ever say anything about the type of numbers that they have within their sects or their religion itself? I'm just trying to think of perhaps the numbers we'll be dealing with here.
Well, when I met Lelea, story for another time. When I met Lelea, it seemed that she had a phalanx of high and mighty around her, like her trusted around her. But I honestly, and when I talked with her faithful, they were always saying, the multitude, the many, the faithful. There was no actual numbers given, but I was never close enough to to ever get that kind of information. Nor do I think I would be disturbed one either. I don't think there's a middle ground with Alelia ever. It's all or nothing. So if she has few, her few are unbelievably powerful to cause this kind of trouble. If she has many, the few are still powerful, but then she has many under her to then spread the word and her wishes, maybe in a more subvertive manner, and with a more subtlety than I could ever hope to achieve. But that seems to be, considering how widespread the issue is. She's been shown she can, send her agents to the plains. But I think there are many weak, but the ones that are truly strong are almost as strong as me.
Matt,
I have this.
sorry, as just to interrupt the RP for 1 second, as Thog has been talking about all of this, as soon as she mentions this Linvala character, Nithsira's gonna have a drunken bright idea and pull out Dimitri's copy of the Book of Silver Mist and knowing that there are certain people named in this from what she's been able to read so far, is going to start going through the pages looking for a Linvala.
If you, I mean, if because you're doing, I mean, Yoshima doing this opening on the table, yes.
Yeah, she's Nifsa is drunk. Like, this is the first time she's
Fantastic.
ever drunk alcohol. She got a fucking clue what's going on. Really, she's just looking for names.
Fantastic. So while this is going, while you do that, then a thought seeing this happen is going to say, well, maybe our our demon swinging sister in arms would be, well, can you find anything, shed any light on this? And I must admit, my my reading speed is that of my pamphlet production speed, very slow.
You'd have seen Eve's head pick up as well, Dimensional Linvala.
She knows that you're connected to Thog through it, and she doesn't think that Thog is a bad character, but she still hasn't fully got a grasp on you yet. And knowing that Dimitri was chained and she interrogated him, and there was also this other character that's been mentioned, then she's just going to try and connect all the dots. Like, this is her going through a thing of like, well, I haven't really got much to do right now, so I'm going to try and fill in this connect the dot part and try and see if they're connected in this book at all anyhow.
Yeah, of course. If you find Thog's name in there, she has suitably, she'll be suitably distressed.
Well, I mean, so far there's a Dimitri, there's a Thrall, there's a Thog, there's an Eve, and a Linvala, and there are all lots of names. So she's just like, fuck it, I'm just going to see if I can see if there's a
Anastasia as well, I
Linvala.
suppose.
Yeah. This Anastasia that you've spoken about as well.
Yeah, I miss her most. She seemed one that, she seemed like a good one.
Anastasia was great.
I'm going to search the book. You do not find any of these names.
I'm aware.
About. No Anastasia, no Linvala. Plenty of Aspilias, Alicias, Helenas, but nothing that matches any of your searches.
All right. When she's done, she's just going to look at you, Thog, and just go, well, she can't have been that important because she's not mentioned in here that I can see anyway.
And that's like, hearing that, Thog's going to say, this is probably, and like, she takes like, she looks at the last of her drink and she's like, parched, because it's the most she's spoken on any topic for an incredibly long time. Even, this is more than she spoke in one go in Barovia. And she goes, I think, finish her drink, she's going to say, well, I think the lack of mentioning, normally I would consider this we've hit a break, but if I'm completely honest, from what I've seen, the lacking of mentioning such an important personage, I think, is rather deliberate, rather than an omission, rather than an accidental omission on their part. Probably so that she can spread her name and work through her own actions where needed, rather than being known as a nuisance for the members of the circle. She did seem like to be dropped into a demiplane. Seems like one of her more covert agents rather than one of her overt agents.
May I ask a quick question? Just a few of you have met this Lelalia character, but have you ever seen any of the creatures that appeared in the tower before now?
No.
No, never. They were strange. I've never seen
No.
anything like it before.
Yeah, the Laila's court seems suspiciously made up of an incredibly large proportion of elven-featured folk, of which I encountered frequently.
I tried to collect a sample of one of the deceased ones, but it evaporated. Perhaps that would, I would deduce from that perhaps she pulled them from another place.
What did they look like? I wasn't there. Maybe I could. Maybe I could help. Hick.
Tall, gangly, goopy.
Was there anything special defining about them? Did they have a certain? They had what?
They had no faces.
I mean, that's certainly a defining feature.
Yeah, and weirdly, they look like I can't explain it. Like almost like they were made of butterflies. Some of them.
Oh, that's. Wait, no, there's a thing in here. It talks about butterflies a lot as well. Maybe it's a secret butterfly monster. Maybe we need to kill all the caterpillars.
Do you think you might need to go to bed and sort of kill some time being asleep?
I mean, to be honest, Thug might actually take that comment seriously because not only is she not too bright, but considering how obsessed the butterfly lady she travelled for a long time was,
Yes.
that makes perfect sense.
Yes, Bob. Yes, dog. Let's kill the caterpillars.
But only if they are the correct colour. It's she did have a thing, those butterflies I mentioned in my story, the backstory. They really were something. But they were always distinctive. They were never just generic. I wouldn't suspect the caterpillars of such things to be generic either. But it's a fair suggestion.
Is there any more goings on or discussions to be had in the tavern before you turn in for the evening?
Not in a minute.
No, I'll put the book back in the bag. Oh no, wait, hang on. Nifsira will look at Moreau and go, "Didn't you want to read this? Look through it."
Oh, I thought I had a bit of a look in the tower earlier, but I'll happy to have another look if you want. You want to pass that?
Sure. I'm in no mood to read, or really, the words kind of jumble at one point. Here, take it, and she just kind of very heavily-handedly plumps it in your hand.
Nice. I'm somewhat of an insomniac, so it might ease me into my slumber.
I see.
Okay. With that, I'm assuming you're heading back to the house, or do you want to stay here?
House, definitely. With a party our size.
If Nith can walk, yeah.
Our dog can carry Nith. Not an issue. Yes, Liam. Yes.
There is a wee, and there's a very serious moment where Nithsira kind of gets when drunk people are suddenly super cognitive
lucid
all of a sudden. Yeah.
Yeah.
She just kind of looks at you and goes, "You know what, Thug? I like you. You remind me of a very good friend of mine who was strong and silent type too, and liked lots of weapons."
You wouldn't be the first or the last person to tell me that. And she's carrying you, not like a fireman carry over the shoulder, because that's just going to induce sickness.
You're carrying me like a baby, aren't you?
Yeah, you're damn right I am. You're damn right I am.
Yeah, I'm just looking at you in the face, and then it's just kind of like, wee again.
Well, if you're going to act like a baby, you carry like a baby. But that's again. And Frog says that, but she's not saying it to be mean. She's saying it with a big old grin across her scarred edges. She's happy.
Even this way of carrying Nith home, you still don't draw attention from the crowds of people. This is still completely normal.
Nice.
Just really quickly, Matt, are those shops still open on our way back, or is it too late, or is it like a 24-hour deal?
So, looking at the skyline here,
Mm-hmm.
as far as you can tell so far, it doesn't seem to be changing. There's not a distinct source of light in the sky, like a sun.
Right.
So you're unsure whether they ever would close at this point.
Can she just, considering that they've already walked through and she kind of knows who's selling what, just really quickly, can she look for a kind of notebook and pen set, if possible, or if she would know anybody who might enchant this in this way for her, one that would write things down automatically. Kind of Rita Skeeter Scat style, you know what I'm talking about?
Okay.
Oh yeah, good stuff.
give me an investigation check.
Sure. She's like, oh hey, I need one of those. Investigation was an 18 plus 5, so that's a 23.
Wow. Okay. It takes you a while. You're kind of going the long way back to the house at this point.
Yeah.
But you do manage to find a stall that sells more of like the trinket level of magical item. And there is exactly that fits the description. It's what you
Just
get.
give me a number.
Bloody
The
notebook
downside
buyers.
is the because of like the janky kind of aspects of this stall. The book is magical, the quill is magical, still requires normal ink. The salesman tries to cover this as a benefit, but it's quite clearly an enchantment, not quite gone right.
Yeah.
But they will sell it to you for 75 gold pieces.
Sure. She has ink on her person because she's sage, so she'll take that for 75.
Okay, perfect.
Sure thing. I have always wanted one of these. Never to get one. Of course you can get it in now. Yeah, that's all I wanted, so we can carry on. That was just a stop off. 75.
Returning to the house a short while later, the door's still open. As you walk on in, everything looks the same as you left it. There is an imp that's just like hovering around, seeming to just nosy around the place. That as you walk in, sees you and darts out the nearest window. But besides that, the house is yours, and you can rest if you wish.
Nice.
Is anyone wanting to do anything on this long rest, or would you like to just time skip away?
What?
Do we need watches?
Yes.
Yeah, it's up to you.
With no front door. I mean,
So if the rest of you would like to take a restful sleep, Fun fact, I don't actually sleep much, so I can stay awake if you would like me to. The whole night, in fact.
lovely.
That is intriguing, but yeah, if you're happy to, I might stay for a few hours. I need to read this book, but happy to provide you with some company for a while.
Sure, I will take the company. I'll just probably be reading, if that's okay.
Much the same for me.
Guys, that's not
Right.
keeping watch.
But hopefully, maybe it'll be quiet in the sense that people around here don't seem to want to cause trouble. They sort of seem to know that they are trouble.
Oh yeah, I feel like that all the time.
Okay, can I have perception check for the two of you then?
Yeah, sure. 12 for Lavender.
15 for Moreau.
Okay. The back alley where this house is situated is very like tucked away. So over the course of your sleep, there is only a few people that even walk by. They don't seem to pay much interest in the house. And all is relatively quiet. There's still the backdrop noise of a bustling city, but it's muffled enough to not be disturbing you in any way. And yeah, you guys can long rest away undisturbed.
Fantastic. Right, I'm gonna have to get going, guys. Got a couple of bits to do before I go to bed.
Nothing bad.
Any questions that are just a thought, I'll just answer.
In that case, we shall just call it there. There's a nice
Okay.
stopping point anyway.
Yeah. Lovely.
Awesome.
Yay!
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Matt.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Later.
Thanks,
See you
everyone.
next week, everybody.
Speak soon, guys.
Bye.
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 Great
With
fun.
the Discord RP because it's
Oh, I'm
very
loving it.
entertaining.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. I get my RP fix when I'm at
Yeah.
work. Like it's great.
For sure. For sure. All right. See you later, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Au revoir.